Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader, where we just spent an entire episode getting halfway through restarting an elevator, and I suspect we have another episode worth of work ahead of us. We gotta find the laboratory using blood and the sacred mechanism. Somebody told us who was likely to have the control rod. I have already forgotten who it was, but it's fine. We'll just search the entire damn station if we have to. So we just finished messing with this thing, and I guess let's make our way back into the main room here. Oh. Heresy has found its way into the walls of this esteemed house.
Follow my lead.
All of a sudden, I've been afflicted. Yeah, the lensing effect there was pretty extreme. It's just the area is corrupted, I guess. All right, lots of stuff going on around here. What is the story with this big machine?
I rise to the occasion.
Synthetic amniotic fluid pools across the floor. Barely discernible traces stretch to the side opposite the entrance. Yeah, they sure do. All right, well, let's steal everything that's not nailed down, obviously. And also, if we can find a hammer, we'll take some of that other stuff too. The caustic stench of reagents sears your nostrils and broken glass crunches underfoot. Somebody wanted to destroy this laboratory. Or find something. Here we have... Okay, a purified sample from an ocean world, a hissing, foul-smelling acid, and some biogel. Just a bunch of liquids. And also a psi crystal. A lot of weird objects that are going in my inventory. So there's a trail of gross stuff that leads over here, but not in a way that we can interact with or do anything about. They all just lost their minds. Please don't kill me. All right, okay. There's an awful lot of functional, operational computer equipment in this room. Research notes of Navis Laboratorium, or Navis Laboratorum Custodian Fortunata Orsellio, Part 12. More and more servants are being influenced by the immaterium, and it has nothing to do with the child's more frequent tantrums. We've discovered that the corrupted flesh of the mutated reacts most unusually to the crystals we purchased from the Winterscale dynasty. I strongly recommend finely grinding the reagent to catalyze the reaction. Do not use acid under any circumstances. Okay, this seems like important information. Trust me, you will not like having to tend to the burns for the next dozen turns in a row. This calls for something more basic. Oh, and one more thing. The tech priests blessed the data crypt H410K for the calculated number of chronoturns, which means it is no longer necessary to remain near the device while waiting for the reaction to start. Okay, grind. Finally grind some crystals. Do not use acid. H410K has been blessed. We're going to have to rebuild this manually. The good news is it doesn't look like it's going to take nearly as long as I was afraid of. Okay. Well, I think we'll put that data crypt in. And then here we have catalyst flask. So the thing is, I know we don't want to use the acid. I don't feel like I know whether we want to use which of the other things we want to use, and we don't have the remaining piece there. So the meteorite chunks were useless. I remember that.
Something of interest.
Okay, did that produce powdered crystal? It did indeed. Feeling pretty effulgent myself. Okay, we need to put the right things in here. So the reagent is this. Now it's just a matter of figuring out which is the appropriate catalyst. Hold on, there's a book on the floor here. Laboratory Journal H4045LS. The child's influence on the psycho-emotional state of various representatives of the Imperium, access level Orsellio T prime. Experiment H45451, subgroup lowborn male. Test subjects exhibit signs of acute stress. The majority, well, we're going to need to, here, pick this up, and then we're going to need to actually access it from our inventory to read the entire thing anyway, which we will do in just a moment. Here we found some adamantine, which is not something we're particularly looking for. There we need to put in tissue, and it's got to be the right tissue. I might have to reread some of the stuff that we picked up yesterday, potentially. Well, let's have a look. So, the thing we just picked up... ended up here. Okay. Test subjects exhibit signs of acute stress. The majority perished of blood loss within a day of being placed in the laboratory chamber due to the inability to halt the discharge of ocular secretions, tears, and the body's subsequent replacement of these secretions with the connective tissue of its internal environment. The individuals with the greatest resistance to the sacred child's resonance died several chronoturns later. Extensive wounds in the abdomen, presumably inflicted by a jagged piece of metal. Death was caused by strangulation with the subject's own intestines. The subject's final shouts exhibited concerns over abominable tentacles and void worms, hallucinations prescribed to their own internal organs. Subject 2, lowborn female. The test subjects died within an hour of entering the laboratory adjacent to the child's chambers. Most had their tongues bitten off or their jaws badly dislocated. Some test subjects lacked the physical strength to separate it from the rest of the skull. Cause of death, severe head injuries caused by impacting walls or floor. Ugh. Alright. Experiment 3, subgroup a paralyzed patient who lost the ability to speak due to the shock caused by a manufactorum accident. Male. The test subject noted a tingling sensation in the deteriorated tissue. During Regent Toronto Orsellio's visit to the child, the test subject smiled and started humming, most likely trying to carry some plebeian tune, and then attempted to address the servant who brought him food. A lengthy conversation was prohibitive due to the servant's lack of a tongue. Okay, well that's a less horrifying outcome at least. Subject 4. Subgroup defective offspring of Lord P. Orsellio, pronounced unfit for studying the high art of navigation owing to the mutation of tissues required for installation of the obligatory augmentations that merge one's consciousness with the vessel. Additionally, they display an overall feebleness of mind, female. The test subjects mirrored the child's actions for 3 days. On the 4th day, the child became upset after hearing the news about the untimely demise of Amos Cantarelli, an officer of her personal guard. As a result, one of the test subjects peeled away several layers of tissue from her face and died from the resulting massive heart attack. The last surviving test subject was executed for attempting to contact the child. Okay. Pronounced unfit for studying the high art of navigation due to mutations. So this is a flesh sample with fragments of scales and rudimentary webbed fingers, and is marked as a Navigator flesh sample. Numerous outgrowths covered in a mesh of bluish-black veins. Hard to say, I think. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in here. So we still have to install a tissue, some kind of tissue, and some kind of catalyst. We know one of the catalysts not to use. Could you help me with this process at all, please? No, okay. Not a useful fellow. Oh, there's a... Aha, a container. flesh sample of a tender pink color untouched by mutations. Okay, well, we don't want untouched by mutations, right? Did I ever get back over here? I remember I was trying to run over here when the combat started to look at something.
Hey, what's that?
Aha! It's a Ripper auto pistol. 3 to 5 damage. Honestly, not a very compelling gun. Also, some frag grenades. 12 to 24 impact damage with 20% armor pen. Hold on now. I feel like we could all benefit from some grenades, perhaps. Now, I don't like... Things like the multi-key. Do these actually have to be equipped? I would assume that they don't. Everybody's going to get a grenade. I would assume that they don't. I would assume that you would use them from your inventory automatically if you chose to try to pick a lock. But it's odd that they're in, like, the grenade. I guess it's usables. It's odd that they're in that location at all, right? So we want to keep our eye on notables here. Oh, we have the control rod already. I must have taken it from the fancy guy we fought in this room. I'm spacey. Okay. So not good to be around the child. It seems like people have difficulty being around the child. This is that letter about Heinrich van Kalox. This we brought with us. A good majordomo attempts to blah, blah, blah. Faithful servant will have mastered the art of styling their mistress's hair. The total time that 5 servants can spend on arranging their mistress's coiffure should not exceed 3 revolutions of the chronometer. Okay. And it trails off. Not terribly important to what we're doing here. Okay, I remember reading this before. Keeper Theobald graciously agreed to provide the samples of his skin growths so we could study the influence of the rebellious Immaterium on the flesh of the Navis Nobilite. Just as we thought, navigators are positively resistant to the restless currents of the warp. The God Emperor truly does shield some people against corruption and misery. Another servant will be carried... Okay, so that would seem to be this sample then, right? Adamantine dust and black water. This was the worst idea that could have entered my mind. Okay, so we don't like the acid and we don't like the black water. The adamantine seems to protect the frail flesh of the lowborn to a degree. Having said that, not even the macerator can handle its temper, so we should probably introduce a more complex compound. All of the data related to the experiment were recorded to Datacrypt 040H. The chunk of meteorite found by Keeper Felek's subjects is completely useless. I remembered that. I was sort of hoping we get to see the sketch. Tall woman and a dark-eyed monster painted with fresh blood. Okay. I strongly recommend finely grinding the reagent to catalyze the reaction. Do not use acid under any circumstances. Okay, so for putting in the biogel and the Navigator flash... wait. This isn't right. Sorry, we want to go through this door over here. We don't want to use the acid. I mean, that's stuff in all the things. I guess let's activate the device and see what happens. Hopefully it won't explode and kill me. It did explode. But it didn't kill me. Is that... I don't think were we looking for explosion? Was explosion what we wanted? No, right? So now what?
I'll lay claim to the stars.
Did I not need that stuff? The Rogue Trader has recreated the control. That was successful recreation of the control rod? Are you sure? I mean, I have the control rod. I mean, I guess we had the control. Okay. I thought that machine was involved in the, because I remember it saying that we needed to.
I won't tolerate weakness.
I remember the guy upstairs saying that we needed to combine the actual physical rod itself with some kind of fluid or I don't know. Let's get back to our man here. Wait, how did we? Oh, we came. That's right. We came through over here.
An expected result.
It sure was. All right, Felek. Great news. Felek Orsellio looks a little better. His tangled hair is now neatly braided, his wounds are tightly bandaged, and there is some healthy color under the scales on his cheeks. You dealt with the threat and powered the elevator. Well done. I trust you brought the activation rod as well. Remember, every second of hesitation may cost my mistress her life. Yadira suddenly cocks her head and drives her nails deep into her shoulder. Then she starts mumbling. The crossroads. There are two paths, both stained with blood, both leading to the accursed eye. They all wear masks, so poor and flimsy, they fall at the slightest touch, one hiding a blind man, another a traitor. Wait, what? Who's who? Who do you see behind the masks? My whisperers are giggling nastily. They will not speak, the naughty little things. They say that tearing off the masks is your concern. Oh, tell me more. What paths? I cannot say. One is paved with blind faith, the other with hatred and treachery. Both lead to tragedy. You simply have to decide what kind of tragedy you like the most. Great, thank you. Everything's clear now. Yadira nods tiredly and glances at Felek out of the corner of her eye. This station has enough problems without your sorcery, psyker. Felek waves Yadira off and looks at you expectantly. Listen, I have more questions regarding what happened here. You think they are worth the life of my mistress? I think that we gotta, at the very least, talk about the child. You meddled with something that should have been left alone. The keeper folds his arms and shakes his head disapprovingly. The child is what the station's servants call Lady Cassia, for the commoners' dirty mouths must not sully her name by uttering it. You see, it is not beneficial for all servants to have their vocal organs altered. Some prove to be more useful when they are still able to speak. While the servants alone cannot be blamed for what happened on the station, most corpses I discovered were either unarmed or feeble. Did you really think mere servants could plan a coup? The senior officers are just as guilty. Half of my guards butchered one another because they suspected treason. As for the real culprit, the coup was staged by those closest to the mistress. Yeah, there's a lot of that going around lately. Here's the thing. Destroying the shuttles, shutting off the power, disabling the security systems, too many things required special access. Access available only to the keeper of the station. Do we actually know that? Is that... I mean, like, obviously it's access to that would be highly guarded, but... As I'm sure you are aware, there were two keepers of the station. Your guess is absolutely correct. Theobald Orsellio, the demented old man obsessed with Lady Cassia and her power, and also the one to blame for the woes that have befallen Yorak 5 and our noble line. You know, I listened to a recording of a private conversation between the station's officers. You were very lenient toward them, purposefully neglecting the security protocols. I was lenient, this is true, and in the end I paid a steep price for it. Just look at the destruction around us. The insurgents have left almost nothing of my home. The keeper spits out the last few words with particular bitterness. Ah, the security captain's report. Only the keepers have access to the station's systems, but the other keeper stayed at his side the entire time and could not have initiated the self-destruct protocol. What say you to this? Which means he did it before the report was filed, or maybe after, or... Felek's stern face twists in disgust. You dare suspect me of what happened, the one who is going out of his way to preserve what little there is still left. By the God Emperor, you will keep these slanderous accusations to yourself. I mean, here's the problem. They've put together a lot of, like, we stumbled across a lot of things that feel like they are pointing in a certain direction here. But we know so little about the situation and about the normal operation of this station and everything. Like, it absolutely could all be just weird red herrings. And I don't know whether I think the writing of, like, not yet being familiar with, like, kind of the vibe of the developer and the way that they do narrative design. I could absolutely see putting all this stuff together as red herrings to mislead a paranoid player to make a point about paranoia, but also it's very thematically, like, it would not be thematically out of line to do that, but also it's not thematically out of line to put all this stuff together and have it be like, you know, listen, you need to pay attention to signs of corruption and people who might be acting against what you might consider to be their own best interest because they have been corrupted, and this place certainly has a bunch of the warp going running through it. It does feel like a guess. It feels like even with all this evidence, trying to figure out whether the developers are bluffing or maybe double bluffing or whatever, it feels like a total guess as to whether or not he is actually responsible for what's happened here. And maybe because I saw most of the evidence like 2 days ago when I recorded the last episode, instead of just moments ago, I'm not remembering some critical piece of it that really makes it seem more or less reliable, but you know, the madmen I fought were convinced that we were the traitors. Felek gives an indifferent shrug. That's why they are insane. Will you really heed the ramblings of retainers who dared to raise their hand against the scions of a noble bloodline? Well, I mean, listen, I got a lot of feelings about scions of noble bloodlines, a complicated relationship. You know what, Felek? I'm certain you are the one behind this coup. Felek nods warily. Okay, so they weren't bluffing. They weren't trying to lay down a bunch of red herrings. I suppose it is time to remove my mask. Congratulations, you've got me. But did you really expect me to be sincere this entire time? To welcome you with open arms? An ally of Tisiphone and her monster? The accursed child who has tormented the navigators of House Orsellio for years? Don't make me laugh. You arrived to help her completely destroy our house, and I cannot let that happen. Well, it's possible that we should just draw immediately. I don't know anything about Tisiphone, and we might be able to wring some more information out of him, but I do think this is going to come down to combat at this point. And he does have, you know, he has backup. He has a lot of backup. Listen, Felek, you're quite mistaken. I came here to get a navigator, nothing more. You do not? Felek hesitates for quite a while. In that case, accept my sincere apology for the deception and my earlier behavior. I had no intention of making an enemy of a von Valancius heir, nor of destroying the station that served as my home for many years. But they left me no choice. You cannot even imagine what monster lurks in the upper chambers. An evil, a plague, a pestilence on our bloodline that seeks to destroy House Orsellio from within. And Theobald and his followers, just mindless fanatics serving this evil. Lady Cassia is a scion of a merciless tyrant, but it is not her relation to Tisiphone that is terrifying. She is a monster whose powers drive servants insane in mere turns. It is so weird to hear people talking in terms of turns. You know, I hesitated a little bit when I saw it in that first document, and obviously they mean turns of the chronometer, but It feels like an acknowledgement of game mechanics in a way it always rings very strange. A cursed child who can kill a navigator from the Orsellio bloodline with just a look. I alone managed to get close enough to her over the years. She lowered her guard and trusted me, and at long last I rid my house of this curse. This is the truth. Well, listen, all navigators are abominable mutants and monsters. That feels like, first of all, a pretty hard line to take. Secondly, a weird thing to say about a class of people that you are literally dependent on for your business and livelihood. And thirdly, a group of people that we are desperately trying to ingratiate ourselves with right now so that we can get one of them to come aboard our ship and work for us. I don't know that I want the child on my vessel, given everything that's just been that we've learned about her. Like, she really does. It does seem to be like a sort of a terrible strain on everyone around her, to the point that they, peel layers of flesh off of their skulls and whatnot. It does kind of feel like, okay, so if we were playing a very zealous character, a very Emperor First type character, then the choice to just kill the child, I think, would be really obvious, right? It's some sort of horrible warp mutant that's one of those things that you burn Inquisition-wise. Hold on just a second. Sorry, a little frog in my throat there. We're not doing that, obviously. But I'm wondering if it is still a matter of just like responsibility to get rid of this child. The things that Felek is saying about life on the child station make a lot of sense. I think we got to throw in. I hate to kill a child, but I think we got to throw in on the side of whatever this thing is. It's maybe too powerful to live. Do I think... Here's the other problem. Because Felek led with this manipulation, it is hard to trust him now. And so to be like, oh, you poor thing, I shall help you destroy it. I can't help but wonder if we're falling for something else. But, like, the child really does seem to be a horrible, horrible monster thing. I feel like I should go talk to it. Although I guess it might just obliterate my mind. Saying option 2 here. Perhaps you are ingratiating yourself to me, hoping I will let down my guard. It sort of prods him for more without explicitly taking a side, but still, like, still leaving myself the opportunity to say, okay, yeah, well, I'll deal with the child for you. So this might be like the path of caution, although it's entirely possible that he's going to react really badly to it. I think I'm going to say that. Perhaps you are ingratiating yourself to me, hoping I will let down my guard. I cannot change the past and dare not hope you will ever trust me again, but I swear my words and my apology are genuine. Okay, so we got nothing out of that. It's like it didn't happen. I mean, it must have been terrible. I think that most people have pretty terrible lives. Most people in the Imperium have pretty terrible lives, honestly. Like, the chain of command is a cruel thing that you are beaten with constantly. But this does seem extra terrible. All right, I'm buying it based on everything else we've read. I believe what he's saying. It must have been terrible to live under a monster's yoke for so many years. I shall help you destroy it. Felek nods cautiously. I did not expect to escape the station alive, but your timely appearance changes everything. If I go up and face Lady Cassia, she will kill me with a glance. I am not lying. Her accursed powers hold sway over the carriers of our Navigator gene. But if you manage to press a special charm against her skin, whether by force or by guile, the baleful influence of her powers will recede, and you will be able to bring the cursed child to me so that justice can triumph and House Orsellio can cast off its shackles. This is a wild plotline. I think very well. I don't think I want to double back. I don't think this is a negotiation, especially since I feel like it's kind of implied that he's going to owe us a big one. And if he doesn't feel that way, we can just, guns out and convince him otherwise. Very well, I will do it. You're going to need this charm. Felek hands you a precious stone without a setting. Its luminous surface remains cold to the touch, no matter how long you hold it in your hand. You need not worry about the child's powers. They are only fatal to the navigators of our house. As for Theobald, he succumbed to the monster's madness a long time ago. Poor and misguided old man. He stands no chance against you. Okay, so we have received a glowing stone. And we're going to be given at least the opportunity to go up here and figure out what's going on. The pale figure with unnaturally long limbs covers her face with her hands, which are deformed with talon-like nails. Her deathly pale face is coated with blood that continually streams from her scarlet misted eyes. Her spiny gills, slightly hidden under her disheveled hair, twitch nervously at your approach. Yeah, okay. Only now do you notice the third eye on the young woman's forehead, hidden by a jeweled ornament. And when your eyes meet, you sense overwhelming, soul-smothering power. We succeeded on a willpower test. Okay, Idira rolled a 47. You are enveloped in despairing grief, and an invisible hand closes around your throat, cutting off your breath. Your limbs seem to fill with lead. Your heart hammers in your chest, and the desire to turn and flee from this room, from this station, almost gets the better of you. At the last moment, you master your emotions, and your will pushes back against the illusion, forcing it to retreat. So am I reading this right? We had a skill value of 60, difficulty modifier of 60, and in this game you want to roll a D100 and you're trying to achieve a number less than your skill. But so it looks like we would have succeeded on anything because gosh, sorry, I don't know what's going on with my esophagus today. It looks like we would have succeeded on anything because the target number was 120, if I'm reading this right. So 47 is less than 100, effectively, because 100 is the highest you could roll on the die. And so, victory. Maybe this was not a very challenging test, and that's why the difficulty modifier is so big. Idira emits something between a moan and a drawn-out whimper. Ow, ow, ow. As if my own little pals weren't bad enough. Now this one's barging into my head. Somebody stop her. Heresy. Argenta looks at the tall figure with a strange mixture of anger and sadness. Then she lowers her head, and her white hair veils her face. So I don't have enough iconoclast levels for whatever this is. I am good enough at persuasion and coercion that we could try to talk our way over to her. Just bring the stone into contact with Cassia. Feels like a weird... I have to close a lot of distance real fast. It's weird that this doesn't have any kind of check associated with it. But we're going to try to talk our way through this here. Lady Cassia, I'm here to help you. Please, calm yourself. She wearily shakes her head, and we were told that there was a 100% chance of success there. Yeah, and again, I think the test ended up being very easy. She wearily shakes her head and lets out a drawn-out sound similar to both a sob and the howl of a small wounded animal. What is happening? Was someone calling my name? Are all the betrayers dead already? And you? Who are you? Well, you know, I'm Samhain von Valencius. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Pardon my manners, Samhain. I did not expect to make such a gracious acquaintance in such a time of great sorrow for our house. What is this? I feel faint. Oh. Theobald Orsellio runs over. The heavyset old man who had been kneeling nearby erupts into low sobs. His eyes, swollen from crying, dart desperately around the room, as though the veil of ignorance has just been ripped away from them. The child! Lady Cassia, where are you? Sacred child! Throne preserve! Despite his venerable age, the Navigator leaps up and rushes to the young woman's side. You. The old man shifts, revealing his face to you. It is threaded with jet-black veins, and his bulging, milky eyes bear a striking resemblance to those of a dead fish. A sickly sweet scent assaults your nostrils, as if the old man's flesh is rotting inside his decaying husk. My eyes fail me, for they are unable to make you out as either enemy or ally. And I'm warning you, one wrong move will bring the wrath of House Orsellio down upon your head. Watch out, Lord Captain. This one's so deranged it's making the whispers shriek like crazy. He might just open that eye of his. Threatening the head of the dynasty is a grave offense, esteemed whoever you are. Well, listen, at present I am trying to determine what is happening on Urak 5. Well, I'll grant that you do not look like pirates who have come coveting the riches of a wrecked station, or like scoundrels in Felek's service. So, who are you? So, if I'm to understand these correctly, it seems like almost anyone could pass these checks, right? If the difficulty modifier is plus 65, and then you add your skill to that, and you have to roll under that value on a D100. Like, even the skills that we're really bad at, we have, like, plus 30s in, right? I guess this being very, very close to the beginning of the game, you know, it's kind of like your tutorial for using your skills in conversations. Maybe it is just the case that basically everybody can succeed on these. I guess, you know, I already said my name out loud. I feel like he could know that if he was actually interested in it. But fine. Samhain von Valencius, to introduce myself again. Another rogue trader in our corner of the galaxy. How interesting. Your kind always make an appearance in desperate times, ready to cut a deal that benefits one side alone. Given that you have not so far drawn your weapons, your intentions are probably peaceful. And so House Orsellio now asks a service of you. Save the life of the child in exchange for future cooperation. Do not hurry to answer. Think on it. You can make yourself an ally or an enemy of our house today. You decide. Yeah. What is the curse that has taken hold of everyone in this room? Curse? You do not understand the sacred gift given to our child. When the child is sad, we all weep. When the child smiles, we all laugh giddily. And if the child wants blood, the world turns crimson. The child's will is the will of the great Tisiphone, for she is the heir of House Orsellio. And they call me dangerous with my witchcraft, Idira mutters under her breath. I want to know what happened between you and Felek. Felek is my wayward student. He came to Uruk 5 as a callow youth. I personally mentored him and entrusted him with the care of the child. He was like a son to me, but he proved to be just another traitor. He sought to steal our most precious treasure, the heir of our house, our sacred child, to revel in power with others like him, casting our house into the abyss, to prevent the centuries-long traditions of our family. You can see the fruits of his villainy for yourself. He decided he was not bound by his duties to the legacy of the greatest of our Novators, Tisiphone Orsellio, who led our house to prosperity for countless years. Oh, foolish boy, the renegades clouded his mind. They sought to seize control of the dynasty before the sacred child had come of age and taken up the Novator's throne. Okay, Novator is a patriarch or matriarch that rules over a Navigator house. Okay. So, choose whose side you are on, a murderous traitor or the lawful scion of a noble house. Theobald speaks these words softly, looking at the unconscious woman with reverence. Ah, boy. I do think that Felek's a little bit less than trustworthy, but I also, I definitely believe what he said about how this would be, this is a horrifying environment to have to live in, and the child is, something's going on here. The child is a terrifying, I don't want to say monster necessarily, but certainly a terrifying force who maybe seems not really to be in control of her power, which is an intensely dangerous thing given what that power is. How could you lose control of your own station? Do not thrust my errors in my face. I am twice your age and twice as wise. Take my advice. Trust no one but yourself and the Emperor. Even those closest to you will betray you for gold, power, or a far-fetched idea of a bright future. You know, Felek said the child is a monster, a legacy of tyranny that must be wiped out. And you believe him? After everything he's done to the station, Felek only wishes to dispose of the heir and take the reins in his blood-stained hands. Do not besmirch Lady Cassia's good name. The child is the holiest and most innocent creature on this entire station. So, the most innocent creature on this entire station is an interesting way to phrase his objection. Because it's not really a response. Felek doesn't really seem to be claiming that Cassia is, corrupt or poor, bad-natured or bad intentioned. And that's certainly not the concern that we've seen anybody else express in any of the logs or anything either. It's that there is a power here that is not being contained, either because it cannot be or because Cassia doesn't care to. And that power is an intense danger to others and has killed many, many innocents. And I don't much like the idea of, I'm worried about why Felek wants Cassia turned over to him. Why we should not just kill Cassia ourselves. It does feel like he wants to try to find some way to wield her power himself. I don't like any of this. I definitely don't want Cassia on my ship, though. I can just leave. So what service do you ask of me? Hope glimmers in the Navigator's milky eyes. Save the sacred child. Take her away from this station. I fear I do not have long left. A bluish rivulet trickles down the old man's chin, and he wipes the mutated blood brusquely away with his sleeve. You glimpse strange burns covering his flesh under his clothing. The slightest movement must be causing him unbearable pain. Save the child. Deliver her safely to Regent Aronto, acting head of House Orsellio in the Coronis Expanse. Rest assured that the reward will be worth your effort. I know we came here for a navigator, but after everything we've seen, I've got some reservations about this girl. Yes, thank you, Adira. Argenta looks at Cassia, and a painful furrow appears on her brow. Such a fragile thing with such a heavy burden upon her shoulders. You are talking as though you expect to die here. I assume this is directed back at, what's-his-face? Theobald shrugs indifferently. My service to the house is coming to an end. The wounds Felek inflicted on my flesh will never heal. I am dying. Praise the throne slowly enough to see that the child is taken care of. Well, listen, there's a Medicaid deck on my ship. Theobald only shakes his head. No, I am the keeper of Yurak 5, and I will perish along with my station. On that note, I have other matters to attend to. Just hurry me up, will you? All right. I don't think... So, 2 is right out. Cassia remains here, and this guy comes back with us to be our navigator. First of all, I don't expect him to live that long. Secondly, he will not accept that, right? Like, this is his home, this is his place, and this is where he wants to be. The question is, do we turn on Felek alongside Theobald, or do we take Cassia back out there, which is going to necessitate combat, I would think. I just don't think we can... I think I'm going to try to bring Cassia back out to Felek. Our character gets what it's like to be sort of like under the boot of something superior, even though we ourselves are a noble, you know, with all the illegitimacy and everything. Like, we don't necessarily have a lot of respect for these systems, even as we are a beneficiary of them. And I can understand why someone wouldn't necessarily want to live under the heel of a creature that can obliterate them with a look. I should bring Cassia to Felek, as I promised. Rash words that will cost you your life. The old navigator balls his fist, the veins on his arm bulge black, and his third eye opens. To me, defenders of the child, duty calls us now. Yeah.
Submit, and you'll die quickly.
Apparently that guy's just allowed to leave. So, Theobald Orsellio has 89 HP. We got some people right up front here. We got 2 shooters, 3 shooters? Looks like 3 shooters across the bridge. We are not in a great spot. What's your deal? Evil Premonition. The first enemy that attacks this creature in the current round will be cursed for 2 rounds. And the ever-bleeding wound. This injury was caused by Navigator warp powers and is untreatable. It will slowly and inexorably lead to death. Okay. Visions of Triumph causes the next ally's attack to always succeed, or the next attack against this ally to miss. Okay, critical hit chances increased. You can also do warp damage and inflict staggered, which is a 20% penalty to many relevant combat skills. All right. We are... So Theobald's getting the first turn. Then this guy. Then Argenta. Then, like, the rest of their team. Then the rest of us. That's actually very bad news for us to go so late. For all of our team to go so late in the turn order. Yeah, geez. Orsellio's gonna go first. So I guess like what I'm kind of thinking is maybe we crowd up against the cover that's available here, with the intention of trying to just like burn this situation down as quickly as possible. Argenta here, Idira here, Samhain there, Abelard. The thing is, I actually really want Abelard to be like up on these dudes. The path is blocked. Are you sure? I'm not allowed to start adjacent to people. That's right. Well, I mean, Abelard could start over here and still be in range to harass. He goes last of everybody. That's really annoying. Well, I don't suppose it makes a lot of sense for him to not be in any kind of cover at all. But the fact that they have such a massive initiative lead on us is going to make this really awkward, I think.
Weapon at the ready.
I will endure.
Of the Imperium!
All right, Argenta. This would be a good time to land a lot of really devastating hits. So, 13 to 18 with this gun. Yeah, we definitely want to use the las cannon. So the Medicae. Oh, I didn't even notice this defender who's right here. If we use the other gun, I can spray, but it's unlikely to yield better results, honestly. We can throw a grenade for some bonus damage, but this does, yeah, it consumes all your actions. The Deadeye shot has bonus to the effective range of the weapon, plus 10% hit chance. It's not actually better here, because it doesn't like increase crit or anything. I think I might just hit Furious Recital right now. There are a lot of enemies within a 5-cell radius of the sister.
As the Emperor commands, I act.
Oh, apparently there weren't. Each enemy that is within 5 cells. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I guess these guys actually are. Are you really 6? 3, 4, 5. Yep. Okay. All of the enemies are 6 cells away from me. Ugh. Whatever. I'm gonna.
None can escape the Emperor's
All right.
judgment.
Blast that guy. I was hoping that we'd get him in one,
Without deeds is
so that run and gun
worthless.
would let me shoot at another target. I am not likely to score a kill on any of those dudes out there. I could, I could change up my plan and start trying to clip these dudes out here and have our party rotate out to the other side of the desk, I suppose. But the problem with that is that we're not going to be able to disable Theobald from hitting us with warp powers by hiding behind a desk. So I think it still makes sense to focus on like cleaning up this area and then rushing Theobald. Here's hoping I don't end up paying a terrible price for that decision.
I've suffered worse. My faith, strength.
Fortunately, a lot of them only have pistols, it seems like. A lot of the ones up here. And people are bad at dealing damage to Theobald. Okay, so the only person left is the guard commander, who is up here with us. Now, obviously, I have the ability to do that, the fantastic Inferno Blast. I think this has got to be Argenta getting a turn, right? Although I suppose this does 10 to 16 damage. We could do like a lightning blast up here if I attack Adira instead. We can lightning blast these guys, then hit him with the Melta, and maybe get a kill on the guard commander? We can give it a shot. Anytime the noble's abilities affect the servant gains +5 all characteristics. Anytime the servant attacks a target that the noble dealt damage to, you get critical hit chance. I'm trying to debate, like, who do I think is actually the right servant this battle? It might be Argenta. As we focus on Orsellio. No, I think it's still going to be Abelard. I think I'm going to have Abelard come back here and sword fight this guy. But we're going to go Voice of Command
Nothing I can't do.
into bring it down on Adira
Suits
for
my
the
purposes.
lightning. It's only going to do 10 damage. Well,
Will do. Shoots me.
That's not great. The warp tremor was not good. Wow, that was not good. Holy crow. Okay, well, bad news. Bad news for us.
Indeed.
Okay. So if I run to, let's say... God, nobody gets a... That was crazy. But that just exploded the whole team. Like, I kind of feel like I need to run over here and provide medical assistance. And then do, I guess, a charge. It's not exactly where I'd like to be, but...
My place is at the fore. Let me help.
Back into the fray.
Okay, and then... I can charge you... Can't charge that guy, he's one square further away.
Victory is imminent.
Hopefully that'll get their attention on Abelard, because he's now in the open.
Follow my lead.
Why did I not foresee this?
Onward.
It does feel like we should have foreseen this.
Pain and duty go hand in hand.
Weather the storm.
Stay vigilant.
Stop
But we are really
me.
out of the fight for just kind of fucking forever, huh? Alright, well they finally stood up. That's nice of them. You should be dead to a sword strike.
It will be done. I took care of this one.
Opening me up for a charge in the other direction.
I will do my duty.
And we endure and we hope.
We're at a tactical disadvantage.
Alright. Even all that medicine, not sufficient to keep her on her feet. Or, I suppose, get her back onto her feet. The good news is these guys are not in position to survive much fire from the laser gun. revel in slaughter a little bit.
I'll do it.
And then run and gun and... There we go.
It's a prayer.
Light that guy up as well. Yeah, she's fantastic. She's a very powerful combatant. I can't believe it looks like we might still win this. Alright, so I guess that must have been the effect of his evil premonition. Curse the enemy, the first enemy that attacks them this round. I really wish that that had been a little bit more described. But I don't think, because the veil degradation is not super high. I mean, it's just sometimes shit happens when you reach out to the warp, I think, but I don't think that was normal. That was not a normal outcome.
But of course.
That's nothing worse.
Alright, light sources grow painfully bright, and also I did electrocute Abelard a small amount. Good news, Abelard. You're very tough and powerful. And also, I'm gonna expose... You don't have any vulnerabilities on you? Or you don't have any exploits? Well, I think that guy's under control.
On it.
That's right, because I spent the exploits to increase the damage of our lightning strike. So yeah, I guess there's not really like a huge amount to do here aside from strike him with sword.
Victory is imminent.
It's a pretty good sword. He just move away from me and then move back adjacent to me. I guess after he ate the opportunity attack, there's no reason not to stand right next to me, but...
As the Emperor commands, I act.
Oh. Left him at 1. That is a shame. At this point, we could just shriek. I suppose. Let me analyze first.
You do.
And then decrease dodge, parry, and armor by like 20%. Is that going to make Abelard able to deal lethal damage? Would I rather just spend the exploits on the scream? I think so. Let's just...
What of course.
Wow, that was a powerful shout. Keep giving him whatever defenses we can. Unfortunately, dodge and parry are probably not super relevant to his immediate position.
Indeed. Reduced to dust.
Okay, nice high damage roll.
I will do my duty.
And then, obviously, this guy's in terrible shape.
Doubt is for the none can escape the Emperor's judgment.
What have you done? Don't touch me. I will manage on my own. Okay. Well, welcome aboard. I have head trauma again, as I often do. Oh, that guy's head landed all the way up there, huh? Basic las pistol and an improved enforcer light carapace. So, seems fine. Just 20% armor with no dodge penalty. Yeah, it seems very much the same as the armor that someone's already wearing, but for some reason it has a different... Oh no, holding it in my inventory, the two things are the same. The character wearing this armor will dodge X% note was showing different numbers while it was still on the body. While no one appears to be living in the cage, somebody still filled the trough with dried fruit and fresh water. Perhaps out of habit. But see, I had questions about this. It is as if the painting was rendered by several different hands. The timid, uncertain lines are interlaced with rough and furious strokes, coming together in arcane shapes. Very worrying. A Staff of Orsellio Guardian. Allies targeted by Navigator powers gain a +5 bonus to all their characteristics until the end of the Navigator's next turn. This bonus stacks and is prolonged until the Navigator's next turn every time it stacks. Seems pretty alright. Got a basic armored body glove, las gun, and thrice Pioneer's bracers. Every time the wearer deals damage, the target's weapon skill and ballistic skill is reduced by -5 for 2 rounds, stacking up to 6 times. That's a pretty good way of running interference for your team. So that goes in the glove slot. Do we want to put that on? You have gloves already. I guess we can put it on you. You tend to make contact. When you make contact, you tend to kill. But oh, you know what? Actually, it might be really good on, because it's just deals whenever the person deals damage. It's good on you because it'll apply to every target of the chain lightning, I would think. And then this is just +5 persuasion, which I think I probably like better than the tech use. My tech use skill is pretty good overall, right? No, not really. Never mind. I thought we were doing well because we'd seen a lot of high percentages on tasks, but you know, it's probably just because the tasks are really easy. Okay. Very basic stuff. Let's have a look around over here before we head back. Doing my best to make sure that we've got the full story here. The Lady Navigator's private library is brimming with essays, novels, and personal accounts from the trailblazers and explorers of the Imperium. This luxurious feast was left untouched. Oh yeah, look at that. Alright, bunch of cargo. Same weapons. It's all well and good. I'm sure we'll find a place where we can sell them. Okay, they're wielding just extremely normal autoguns. Alright, here's hoping I didn't do something deeply foolish here. Rogue Trader, you came back. You hear equal parts confusion and frustration in Felek's voice. And dragged this monster along. Good. This is what you asked me to do, my man. Why would there be confusion and frustration? He thought we were going to die. Cassia flinches at the Navigator's words and clenches her fists. Her sharp nails dig deep into her soft skin, drawing blood. Cassia's face, however, remains dispassionate. Traitor. Okay. This is like the first time we've had the opportunity to actually talk to Cassia. This is what I was hoping we would get more of going in there, was the ability to ask her what's going on from her point of view. And then she lost consciousness immediately. I don't really want to start addressing her as monster, but I do want to ask her, is it not you who has been tormenting your subjects all this time? So I guess I'm going to do that. What are you talking about? I'm Cassia Orsellio, one of the heirs of House Orsellio. I'm not a monster, and I will have you know that I have never tormented anyone. I've spent my entire life on Yorick 5 in the company of Felek and Theobald, and both remained in good health up to this day. Cassia nods at Felek angrily. I do regret it now. I see the acid green rings of deception constricting you. Felek's been lying to you. just like he's been lying to me this entire time. Oh, yes, about that. Felek Orsellio shrugs awkwardly. Forgive me this little lie, rogue trader. You served the noble cause of liberating House Orsellio like no other, for which I will forever be grateful. We could have become close friends in another life. Liars like you, sir, do not deserve to call themselves friends of the dynasty. Sorry, another sudden coughing fit there. I apparently have been recording too much today. Not that anyone has extended such an honor to you. However, the house's reputation must not be jeopardized by your testimony. The girl is a curse on all of Orsellio. She is the legacy of Tisiphone, a beast who kept the entire house chained with fear, killing indiscriminately for any trace of dissent. I had to break the shackles of her tyranny. It is nothing personal. I'm sure you understand. The eye on the Navigator's forehead opens wide. Opens wide. That's a funny coincidence, because I wasn't going to let you go either. I do think... I'm a little confused here. Because it's like, Felek's been lying to you. But Felek's not the one who gave us any of the information about people peeling the flesh off of their body from mere proximity to the child, right? Like, that's information that, as far as we know, is still real. That's the problem. I'm not super concerned. Like, this whole thing is playing out like Felek executed some grand manipulation, but this would have gone the same way if he hadn't been here. All right, well, in any case, he seems to think he can kill me, and he seems to think he sent me to my death, and then I came back, and now it didn't work, so he's going to kill me with his own hands. And that's obviously that is a crime for which the penalty is laser gun to the head. The words get stuck in your throat, and your hands refuse to obey. The hatred of Felek overwhelms your entire being. How could he? How dare he betray you, his mentor, his house? You hear a woman scream as if from afar, and the veil of others' conjoining emotions fades. You think I'm a monster, Felek? Fine. Have it your way. I really wish this wasn't happening with the chandelier directly in front of...
Take a knee and bow before me. For the Emperor!
Okay, so Cassia... Okay. Are we not going to deal with the fact that Cassia is some kind of insane monster who's going to kill us all through sheer proximity? Is that not a concern anymore? I guess I'm going to put sound back here because sound keeps getting flattened. Adira... Nobody else can reach the other pillar. I mean, Abelard can, but that's not where we want Abelard. So who exactly is going first? This guy up front is going first. And then one of the ones... Oh, God. Okay. This is not actually a safe position. This sucks. We are really surrounded. These guys don't seem to be anything particularly special, but they do have 26 HP. I guess Abelard... Jeez. I don't know. This is not very good. The good news is that we do have some number of turns early on, but they get to attack us with people on all sides before we get to do anything, so it feels pretty grim.
Follow my lead.
Wow, okay.
Not an excuse to shirk one's duty. Weapon at the ready.
So their shotguns ignore cover, it would seem. Her lidless stare seems very powerful, and then she's gonna get another turn like immediately after. That's interesting. And she did bring it down on Abelard for some reason. Well, I guess the thing to do then is to switch to the lasgun, and maybe we try to... No, I can't hit the... Yeah, I can't hit things for shit with this. The way things are stacked up. I would really love to be able to... I really wish she had done that on, like, anybody else. Okay, if we go single shot mode, I can not kill anyone. I can throw a grenade. Yeah, that's probably the play. I can definitely clean up 2 people with a grenade. The fire grenade has a larger area. Any creature which enters that area or stands there at the moment when the effect is applied suffers 10 fire damage. And the area of this is a little bit larger, so it'll hit them all.
That's not the Seneschal's job.
Oh, you're kidding me. You can't see any of the tiles. Man, lean out from behind your cover. I will say this is the first maybe the first tactical game I've ever played where if you are it seems like if you are behind cover, you effectively cannot see around it to the sides. Definitely not the default function.
At your beck and call.
Because in most games, if you're standing here, you are able to attack as though you are here or here on your turn, right? For determining line of sight and stuff. And I'm allowed to... I guess I'm allowed to brace for impact now.
Victory is imminent.
That's a defense boost for everybody. Okay, then it's Argenta's turn. So these guys have some like mean shotguns, it would seem. I think what I probably want to do... How much health do they have left? 13, 10. So probably too much for me to get a... yeah, I'm not going to be able to get multi-kills with bolter spray. We should be able to get 2 kills. And then it'll be Abelard's turn, and Abelard could probably clear this guy up if he's not... Okay, so this guy's first priority.
Eradicated.
Then we hit the running gun.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
Really wish I could move to a safer position, but I guess this will have to do. And then from here,
As the Emperor commands,
kill this
I
one.
act. None can escape the Emperor's judgment. I'll do it.
revel in the slaughter. Let's go ahead and hit Furious Recital, because it'll count to this guy and the 2 that we hit, right? So 3 momentum for every enemy that's in a 5-cell radius, or that you hit this turn. And then, yeah, I think that's a reasonable turn from her. And now we have one side of the room that is actually our side, provided that Abelard cleans this guy up correctly, which I can see no reason why he wouldn't. I guess actually it is worth noting that this guy does not go next. He doesn't get a turn until after Samhain does, so maybe... No, I think it's important to clear one side of the room for us.
Follow my lead.
Ah, except it looks like we might not actually do it. Well, 9 to 15, if we hit at least medium damage, it'll be good enough. Let's hope.
What's your target?
Okay, maximum
Back
strength.
and call.
And then hit Endure, I don't think it's going to matter, but you may as well.
Follow my lead. You'll regret this.
Cover is not worth shit in this game. It's the thing that we have learned. Alright, so I've not actually left Sal in a place to run. Like, she can't get to any better cover, but she's behind heavy and she's on the right side of it. It's fine. I am definitely going to Voice of Command.
Nothing I can't do. Not a problem
So
for me.
Argenta probably has vision of this guy. Yeah. We can soften that dude up a little bit. Thanks, Argenta. Who wants to be... Honestly, I don't even know who it makes sense to put this on. Whatever. Maybe I should have given Argenta that before I pressed all the stuff. I was still kind of thinking it would be Abelard right up until the end there.
Didn't stand a chance.
Okay. One down.
Be careful not to cross my gaze.
Do you have vision of anybody? No. That was kind of a weird... So, okay, an interesting thing is that I was given 2 AP and no MP, but I do have the ability to run and gun. So I can get some movement and try to get to a spot where I can see somebody. The problem is they're all like really ensconced here. So I can draw a line to him. Yeah, all right, I'll take that.
The Emperor will be undone.
Just run into the open. There's not very many of them left at this point, so it feels less unsafe than it would have been before. And then again, like, it should, when I'm just mousing over a space, it should show me who I have line of sight on from that space. I shouldn't have to actually click in the hologram mode. These are things that, like, XCOM had figured out years ago, right?
Rejoice in battle.
There might be a setting or, like, a modifier key that I can hold.
Power. Is your hatred of me really so strong, Felek?
Cassia's ruby eyes fill with bloody tears as she looks the traitor in the face, and your heart is racked by unbearable grief. Okay, would you explain what just happened? You killed Felek just by looking at him. Feels like kind of a silly thing to say. Like, I know it's referring to whatever specific thing is supposed to be going on with her family and the navigators of her bloodline, but, like, it's also, like, not that weird of a thing to happen between two psychers, right?
I've never... I did what ought to be done to renegades of House Orsellio. You need not worry, rogue trader. I have no such power over the lives of ordinary people.
I don't... So she's not willing to even accept the things she did do here, which means she's completely untrustworthy about whether or not she can do it to others. At this point, she's the only navigator we have, so we have to take her. But I don't like it. So with that in mind, since we have no option but to take her because all of the other potential navigators are dead now, everyone on the fucking station is dead, except for the people who ran away during the gunfights. It behooves us not to offend her so that she doesn't send us to the cornfield. I guess I say I do not care, I'm not afraid of you. Like, a useful gift, I like it, she's not going to like that. She wants to pretend that she doesn't have the power that she has, clearly. Even when she, like, there's no version of this that's like, oh, she didn't know they hid it from her. She did it, and then she was just like, no, I've never, okay. I guess I say I don't care, I'm not afraid of you, but none of these make sense to say in this situation.
Not many people would dare talk to me like that. You are very different from the rest.
Yeah, listen, we can hammer this all out later. We should probably leave the station immediately. The systems are unstable and may fail at any moment.
But this is my home. What are you going to do to me?
So she claims she has no power over people not of her house. There's no reason that that would be true. Like, that doesn't really, like, make a huge amount of sense from the standpoint of how warp powers work and stuff in the setting. And she's a navigator, so she's intensely dangerous to everyone, kind of all the time. She seems to have an unusual power that she's not in control of, nor, I was going to say nor cognizant of. She's cognizant of it. She just saw it in use. She doesn't want to be cognizant of it. She's pretending she doesn't know she has it. So, like, we're going to take her on board, and we're going to try to be nice about it. And it really is going to be a little bit like that cornfield story, right? Where it's just everybody's going to have to be super nice to her all the time so she doesn't freak out and kill us all. And that's just the situation on board the ship for the foreseeable. I don't love that, but we don't really have another choice. So let's start being nice to her right now. Lady Cassia, let us aid one another. Yeah, if the idea that she has is that we're trying to offload her at the first possible opportunity, I think that's probably for the best, because I really do want her off my boat as quickly as possible. Let us aid one another. Become my navigator, and I shall restore you to House Orsellio at the earliest opportunity.
I beg your pardon, but what about my servants? Yurak 5 is still full of people loyal to House Orsellio.
Well, all who can be saved will be given succor on board my ship. We need crew. The Lady Navigator ponders your words for a short while.
Accompanying a rogue trader on their travels is an honor for any navigator. Let us go. I can no longer bear the sight of the deathly pale shadows that drape the bodies of the fallen.
Okay. It's an outcome.
It's about time.
Ah, yes, we got to collect the remaining trophies. Got some tactical goggles. We got Felek's staff. I didn't really look at her situation at all. And we probably need to, but we probably need to do that next time because we're 90 minutes into the episode already. I didn't realize how much trouble was going to be left when we came back to Felek. That whole thing unfolds very strangely because you see all these logs about how incredibly unsafe it is for people to be even in the room next to her chambers, and then your character forgets all that stuff. You're not allowed to, like, bring it up at all, or I don't know. It's very strange. Lord Captain, Lady Navigator, welcome aboard. The Sanctum Navis has been prepared for the communion ritual, but if the Lady Navigator wishes to rest in her quarters first... Your heart starts beating furiously. Your breaths come short and choppy. Your fingertips tingle unpleasantly. You notice that Vigdis is shivering slightly, and the crew are glancing around in puzzlement, searching for the source of this sudden wave of unease. Without even looking at the Voxmaster, Cassia waves her away. First, I wish to speak with the rogue trader. Leave us. Of course. When you're ready for the ritual, please let me know. I do not like this. Cassia sweeps her pensive gaze over Vigdis, then, lowering her lashes slightly, turns to you. That's a weird... Okay. A weird degree of detail about what's going on with her eyelids. What did you wish to speak about? Before I begin the ritual, I wish to look once again into the eyes of the woman whose fame is so great it managed to penetrate the impregnable walls of Urak 5 long before we ever met. It truly is you, the person the whole Expanse and Calixis sector are talking about, and now a rogue trader as well. Apparently more famous than I even would have thought. After a few seconds' hesitation, Cassia lets out a small exhale and then raises her pointed chin. I have not yet thanked you for saving me on the station. My thoughts were clouded with so much mournful ash when Theobald's heart stopped, but you acted honorably and did not exploit me in my wretched position, and for that I am immeasurably grateful. I mean, I kind of did. She really is like a child. I didn't have to put forth any effort here. I just said, yeah, we should probably leave. And she was like, yeah, I agree with you. I am also deeply grateful that you saved my servants, especially my valet. Uwe served on the station for more than 5 years, much longer than any who preceded him. He knows how to properly attend to me during journeys through the Immaterium and what to serve me for breakfast. His presence envelops me in a cloak of amber. It's like that 311 song. But now, Cassia throws back her shoulders, I am ready to go to the Sanctum Navis and perform the sacred rite. I require brushes, canvas, and the best paints you have on board. But no red. Sorry? We are not telling her that we are not doing the things she wants, because she'll melt us. Tell me more about what this ritual entails? I doubt the uninitiated can understand the mysteries of navigation, but I shall try to explain the essence of it. I must merge my mind and will with the machine spirit of the ship, so that I become one with the vessel. Cassia lifts a lock of hair from the back of her neck, revealing gilded implant ports. After that, I use the House Orsellio ritual, which I am loath to reveal to you, to free my mind of all errant thoughts. And then it is time to open my third eye and peer into the depths of the warp itself. Among the nightmarish visions, mirages, and creatures of the abyss, only the light of the Emperor is the truth that will guide me from star to star, from system to system. Oh, the light, the guiding thread, so fine it can slip from one's grasp at any moment. Cassia unfurls her hand as though dropping something. But you have nothing to worry about. The navigators of House Orsellio never lose their course. And why no red paint? Cassia gestures toward the servant standing beside her. Uwe will give of his blood before the ritual, as always. Okay, we gotta get her off the ship as quickly as possible. Yep, I shall ensure all the necessary supplies are delivered. Thumbs up. Go ahead and get away from me now. I shall take my leave of you for the duration of the rite. I ask that you do not follow me. Few can survive the gaze of my warp eye when it is opened. And I mean, like, the funny thing is, she's not that much more dangerous than a normal navigator. This is kind of the way things are. Alright, can I please... No, are we going to have more conversations? Does that need to be right this second? I will oversee the open channel between the Lady Navigator and the bridge. Cool, great. And then a loading screen. What about letting me go to the menu? When can that happen? The Voxcaster in the Sanctum Navis picks up the susurration of clothes, pious chanting, and the metallic clicking of implants. Then the serene voice of the Lady Navigator breaks the silence. Initiating communion ritual. Okay, cool. I don't need to know about it. Just do it. Come here, Uwe. The exultant ring of metal free from its scabbard. The low sob of the servant. The rhythmic drip of liquid on canvas. The faint whisper of the brush. Go. Footsteps hurrying away. Why does she need to have the Vox open for this? I see violet vortices, lashing an ocean with a million flails, and umber shadows spinning over the surface in a fiery dance. A storm rising above foaming waters, armadas drowning in fog. The path from one end to another cannot be seen. And here, beyond the wall of glass, a daughter, forsaken by her father, yearns for her brother, and the sun's pale disk goes in tireless pursuit. Of her? No, of me. Its frozen rays lie that spring is here. The light is deadened. The great ruler is gone. The Voxmaster recoils at Cassia's words and accidentally snaps one of the cogitator levers. The panel beneath her fingers emits sparks, and the Voxcaster falls silent. She quickly flips a series of switches and bows guiltily. My abject apologies for cutting off the broadcast, Lord Captain. I've never heard the warp speaking through a navigator before. The connection is restored now. It will not happen again. Yeah, it's really not necessary to do that. We can leave it closed. No, we're not going to lash. Okay, I'm going to leave her undisturbed. She knows what she's doing, and also, I don't need to be part of this process. Soul-shredding screams drown out the Vox transmission. The servants in the Sanctum Navis are howling and shrieking like wild beasts, moaning in pain, their throats raw from the strain. And then, sudden silence. The dull thud of dropping bodies proclaims their fate. It appears the servants were part of the Lady Navigator's rite, as it was for her predecessor. I will arrange for the bodies to be removed from the Sanctum Navis after the ritual, or what is left of them. Rogue Trader, I fear I have unfortunate news. Endless blackness has spread across the canvas, dividing what should be whole in two, and my sight cannot glimpse the light of the Emperor as clearly as before. I cannot turn around. My brush only draws me onward. The way is blocked. You hear a heavy exhale, rustling fabric, and metallic clicking. By the Emperor's grace, the ritual was successful. Your vessel's temperament presented a challenge. Its cold steel grip did not allow me to breathe freely, even for a second. It was as if the depths of the ship housed not only machine spirits, but something other. Now I will retreat to my chambers to recover my strength. Send for me if you have need of me. Lord Captain, congratulations on acquiring a navigator. Please spare me a few moments of your time, as there are several matters that require your attention. First of all, I wish to report on the condition of the station Yurak 5. Had you opted to begin your visit to the Rycad system with a different destination, the station could have become critically unstable. Fortunately, the decision to immediately visit the representatives of the Nevis nobilage brought us precious time. We can either focus our efforts on disassembling the station and procuring technological components for our own vessel, or attempt to save as many valuables as we can. Gather components that may be of use on the ship. Obviously, like, the survival of the ship is the most important thing. It won't matter how rich we are if we're all dead. As you command, Lord Captain. Scrap containers, cool. With your permission, I would also like to remind you that we are still looking for an Engineer Prime. Both the vessel and its machine spirits are in desperate need of oversight by an experienced tech priest. We are also missing some crew, and, much more importantly, we have not yet located Heinrich Sven Kalox, the right hand of the Lord Inquisitor. Now, I know, this was a 5-minute stop-off on our way to the Astropathic station, which was our first stop of several in the system. I remember what we're doing. This is the sort of thing you should get 5 lashes for. Okay. Thank you, Vigdis. This will be all for now. Stop talking to me. Jesus Christ. Alright. Jesus. Okay. I'm going to save the game, and we're going to quit. I've been trying to stop the episode for about 40 minutes now. That's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Our situation is markedly worse than it was before, I would say, at the beginning of the episode, but at least we can move forward. When you come back next time, we're going to try to resolve some of our remaining problems, which Vigdis absolutely will not let us forget about. And we'll see you then.